the 48 laws of power.
Power is everywhere. It flows through every conversation, every gesture, every decision. You cannot escape it. You can only learn to use it. To deny power is to hand it to someone else. To master it is to live freely. These are the 48 laws of power, written not for the weak, but for those willing to see the world as it truly is. This is Law 4. Words are like arrows. Once they're released, they cannot return. And the more you speak, the more you reveal your fears, your plans, your intentions. Power belongs to those who stay silent until the moment matters. When you say less than necessary, you control the conversation. You force others to fill the silence with their own thoughts, and that silence becomes your weapon. Let's travel back to 17th century France, to the dazzling and dangerous court of King Louis XIV, the Sun King. His palace was a labyrinth of whispers, gossip, and naked ambition. Every noble, every minister, fought for a sliver of his attention. Every word spoken was a gambler chance to rise to glory or fall into ruin. But Louis himself, he rarely spoke. Instead, he listened. He observed. He mastered the power of the pause. Imagine the scene. A courtier, desperate for favor, babbling on, trying to impress the king. He fills the room with his own voice, his own ideas, his own anxieties, and Louis just watches, his face, an unreadable mask. That silence was terrifying. It made people deeply uneasy, forcing them to over-explain, to speculate, to desperately try and guess what the king was thinking. And in their frantic guessing, they revealed everything: their loyalties, their schemes, their weaknesses. Louis's silence didn't just make him powerful, it turned him into a mystery. And in the world of power, mystery is currency. Those who chattered endlessly found themselves losing his favor. Those who spoke carelessly and revealed too much often lost their positions, sometimes even their heads. And the man who said the least of all, the king himself, became the most powerful and feared voice in all of France. When he finally did speak, his words were short, measured, and final, like royal decrees carved in stone. He didn't need to shout to be heard. His silence had already done the work. So, what is the lesson here? Every single word you speak is a clue, a thread that others can pull on to unravel you. When you talk freely and openly, you're basically handing over a map to your own mind. You expose your intentions, your insecurities, and your strategies. But when you practice restraint, when you speak with deliberate intention, you create a void. You force others to confront the unknown, and nothing commands more attention than uncertainty. Think about it. The person who can't stop talking in a meeting is often seen as nervous or lacking confidence. But the person who listens, who waits, and then delivers a single, incisive comment, that person commands respect. Their words carry weight. Power doesn't come from the volume of what you say. It comes from the value of what you withhold. Those who master this law make people lean in, desperate to hear more. They don't push people away with a flood of noise. So remember, speak less. Understand that sometimes silence says far more than words ever could. And when you finally do speak, make every single word feel like it costs something precious. Let's get into the strategy. How do you apply this in your own life? First, understand that silence is not emptiness. It's an active tool of control. The next time you're in a negotiation or a tense conversation, try this. Use pauses. After someone makes a point, just wait. Let your silence linger a few seconds longer than feels comfortable. You'll be amazed at what happens. People will rush to fill that void, often giving up valuable information or concessions just to break the tension. They reveal themselves, and you gain the upper hand without saying a thing. Second, avoid the temptation to over-explain or defend yourself. When you make a decision, state it clearly and concisely. If someone questions it, don't get drawn into a lengthy debate. Every word you add to defend your point can actually weaken it. It signals a lack of confidence. It chips away at the mystery you built. Your initial statement was enough. Let it stand on its own. Finally, when you do speak, make it final. When you stop, make it deliberate. Don't trail off or use filler words. This trains people to pay attention when you talk. The fewer words you use, the heavier and more impactful each one becomes. Think of your words as rare gems, not common stones. You don't just scatter them around. You present them carefully at the right moment for maximum effect. This isn't about being rude or uncommunicative. It's about being strategic. It's about making your presence felt through what you don't say, as much as what you do. Now, like all laws of power, this one has a reversal. There are absolutely moments when silence is not the answer. Sometimes, words themselves are the source of power. A rousing speech can inspire an army. A seductive whisper can win a heart. Eloquence can rally people to your cause and dismantle your enemy's arguments. In these situations, saying less than necessary would be a mistake. It could be interpreted as weakness, indifference, or a lack of conviction. But here's the key. Even then, the core principle of the law still applies. Whether you're delivering a powerful oration or a quiet confession, your words must be used like a surgeon's blade sharp, precise, and never, ever wasted. The greatest orators in history knew this secret. It wasn't about how much they said, but how deeply each word cut, how perfectly each phrase was timed. They understood that even in a flood of words, the most powerful ones are those that are chosen with extreme care. So, if you must speak, don't just talk. Weave your words into a tapestry of influence. Know when to be silent and when to unleash a carefully crafted verbal assault. The true master knows that both silence and speech are weapons, and the art is knowing which one to draw. So, as we close, let's reflect. Power often hides in plain sight, behind a veil of restraint. The person who stays silent in a room full of noise often appears the wisest. The leader who listens more than they speak seems more confident, more in control. The less you reveal about your inner world, the more others will project onto you. They will fill your silence with their own assumptions of intelligence, of strategy, of strength. Words can be a trap, locking you into a position you can't escape. But silence offers freedom. It gives you space to think, to observe, and to choose your next move with perfect clarity. So, let the world wonder what you're thinking. Let them try to figure you out. While they are busy guessing, you already know exactly what comes next. Always say less than necessary. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of power. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you don't miss the next law in our series. Until next time, stay sharp.